Now, let's go ahead and turn our attention to our favorite ecosystem, the one called PulseChain. And we will go ahead and look at the poll question that we got posted. So, what PulseChain token are you accumulating the most right now? We have 50%. Now, this is probably because I can only do 4 stupid options, but 50% is saying Hex right now, actually. Now, maybe that's because they're accumulating both, and we have technically like 2 versions of the token, one on ETH, one on PulseChain accounting for that. But I find that interesting. It probably warrants a discussion after we look at maybe the chart here for Pulse and stuff for a minute. But second place is Pulse at 25%, then PulseX at 16%, which I find interesting. And Inc. is last at 12, which is probably pretty predictable. But yeah, so right now, as far as prices, we got Pulse at 4 zeros and a 468. It has tumbled down over the last couple of days. Got a little bit of a buy-in myself last night, so I was happy about that. Got PulseX at 4 zeros, 258. Incentive just under $2 at 197. Hex at 1.2 cents, and eHex at 00183 right now. So we've taken quite a tumble here over the last couple days, but nothing extreme, nothing completely unexpected. Today in particular, it got pretty bearish. It was actually interesting. I messaged you this today. I don't know if you saw it, Ewok, but right around noon or so Eastern time, we had like quite, a modest drop. And I think if you believe Twitter, I think it was one dude moving a whole bunch of different stuff around, basically. But we saw a pretty big drop, and then we saw these huge clips come in to buy it right up when Pulse got down to like quad 043 earlier today. So it's moved up substantially already off of that move. I found it really encouraging that like whenever it did wick down to that for a short period of time, we just saw like there was a $500,000 clip that came in from one person, and everybody started buying it back up. So does that mean we'll never go below there again? No, I'm not saying that, but it's interesting that like that looks like a level that some whales are definitely interested in buying and interested in defending. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, where do you sit right now if you want to pull up the Pulse chart first? And then I think it's interesting if we get into a conversation about why people may be buying Hex mainly right now. But yeah, if you want to take a look at Pulse, because I was looking at this chart earlier today, and I mean, at these levels, I mean, we do have price history here. So I don't think this necessarily means we're returning to all-time lows or anything like that. But, it is what it is. It's not too big of a drop.
Well, we do have a lot of history, actually, because back here in September, it was resistance in this area. And then once it caught through there, it flipped to resistance. I'm sorry, to support. It supported it, then went up, and then came back down, and support hit right in here again until it finally broke through. Again, resistance. And we're kind of playing around this level. There's a lot of price action, right in this range here between the 4.3, 4.6 area historically. So yeah, I didn't see the one thing that I did saw. I got a alert something about somebody bridged over quite a bit of money in one big clip as well. But I didn't see this, this wick down and then buy it back. I didn't catch that earlier today. So, I mean, there's obviously support at these levels, whether it be limit orders or people just kind of defending this area and don't want it to go lower. It would be it'd still be a higher low. It still is a higher low at this point. So, I just think there's people stepping in to defend the price, whether it be, a bunch of people small or, a bigger whale that doesn't want to see it go lower. They're both possibilities, but yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at some good support. Again, there's a lot of structure at these levels. When you look at where we're at right now, and you go across here, there's been many, many, many touches on it. So, and that's just here since May. And then you go back historically, there's more touches here, and then back here as well, even into September of 23. So yeah, I just think it's Axis brought the chart up last week, I believe, and his shows the, amount of volume, amount of buys, the buys and sells in those ranges. And I remember seeing this area was quite thick. So, we like them thick.
Yeah,
So
we like thick areas.
yeah,
Yeah. So while it's not fun necessarily that we've dropped down here on the pulse price. I mean, it is something that could have been expected, and it's not like it was that huge of a drop off. So definitely continuing to accumulate. I mean, really, that's been the big picture. I mean, as long as it's below SAC rate, the minute that I have fiat available, I'm getting into the ecosystem right now. So you got PulseX there.
I pulled PulseX up, and these are all going to show very similar. Now, if we look at the ratio between PulseX and Pulse, it's having a little pullback as well, but still hanging in that 0.55 area. So, that hasn't changed a whole lot.
And I'm really okay with that. I mean, I'm okay,
Yeah.
if it's going to pull back against Pulse. I mean, this chart, as you guys can see, has been up only. And if for those of us liquidity providing, like we've talked about a shit ton over the last few weeks, I'm okay with that ratio just hanging out right in there so we can keep getting that sweet ink, without fearing impermanent loss in the short term. So
let's pull up Hex next.
Yeah. Let's do that.
This is the monthly. Let's go to at least the daily.
There you go. Yeah, it's been super bullish over the last couple of weeks.
It has. So again, I think I said last week that this cool off period is not a bad thing. The one thing we don't want to do is probably get down below a penny, because there is some support here. Oops. Where was I? Yeah, about right here. Yeah, there's some support from back here, or resistance at this point, that it finally did break through. So hopefully we can use this as resistance now or support to bounce off of and go back up again. We don't want to see it break through that level, or it could continue down, into the 0.09, 0.08 area. So,
yeah.
And then we can pull up incentive and see that it's probably doing very similar, as all of these kind of act accordingly. But this one looks a little bit different. There's a little different, but you don't have that green candle today. It's still red. So,
right. What about, you want to pull up eHex real quick too? Because we are getting, I wanted to highlight this. Maybe we just kind of transition into this conversation here as well. But I like this comment from Turk Montana. I'm only buying eHex. That's the best buy right now. I mean, like, ratio wise, I don't know that he's wrong. I mean, like, even though eHex has come up pretty well over the last couple of weeks, it's still in a good buy zone. And I know there's people out there that'll, swear against it and never going to buy it. But you and I have never been that way, really. Now, not necessarily. I guess I understand if you don't want to DCA into it anymore based on things that have happened. That's totally fine. I've still been doing it modestly, but to ignore it as a commodity and think that it's not going to pump as well, I think is obviously a mistake. So, yeah, you're right. Same kind of pattern with eHex here too, though.
Yep. And again, we're finding support, hopefully in some of these older areas that we've touched before. If it holds, that's a good thing. If it continues down, then we could go back down into some of these other lower levels.
Yeah, and either way, I mean, it's still playing short-term time frames, and I'm really wanting to DCA into all of this stuff right now.